Welcome to CSEC Economics. For this lesson, we will focus on Section 3, Demand and Supply. Our objectives for today include to explain the term market, identify market forces, and also to use diagrams to describe the relationship between price and demand, as well as price and supply. When we think of a market, or at least when I think of a market, usually the first thing that comes to my mind is being at a location where I see a lot of fruits and vegetables on stalls. But no, in economics, when we speak about a market, we're talking about a situation that allows buyers and sellers to interact. So it does not have to be a physical location that you go to. It's a situation that allows buyers and sellers to interact. And so that situation can be something that exists online by use of the internet. There's also the concept of market forces. And when we speak of market forces, we are looking at the actions of individuals, buyers and sellers, that cause the prices of goods and services to change. And this occurs without government intervention. Now, these actions by the buyers and the sellers, they help to determine the price and quantity demanded. So we have mentioned that the market forces are demand and supply. Now, what are demand and supply? What do those concepts mean? Now, in economics, you'll hear about different types of demand, but we're typically speaking about effective demand. There's the concept of desired demand, which speaks to just a wish, it speaks to a desire to have something, but not having the means to acquire it. On the other hand, when we speak of effective demand, we're referring to the willingness and the ability of consumers to purchase goods at different prices. So you can be willing, but if you're unable, that's not effective demand. If you are willing and able to acquire the good, meaning if you want it and you have the money to buy it and it's available, then yes, that constitutes effective demand. Another fundamental concept of economics is the law of demand. And this is something that will guide you through microeconomics and macroeconomics. So the law of demand speaks to a relationship between the quantity of a good or service that is demanded and the price. So the law of demand focuses on the relationship between price and quantity demanded. The law of demand states that ceteris paribus, or other factors being constant, price and quantity demanded of any good and service are inversely related. So if there's no change to any other factor, the price and the quantity demanded, they have an inverse, indirect, or negative relationship. It means they're going in two different directions. So for example, as the price for a good increases, the quantity demanded for that good decreases, and this is typical for what we would consider to be normal goods. So remember, price and quantity demanded, they have an inverse relationship. So when one is going in one direction, the other is going in the opposite direction. Market demand looks at the sum of all demand for individual customers for an economy. So when we hear the term market demand, we're talking about the overall demand. Another very important concept that you should know is the demand schedule. So the demand schedule is a representation of price and quantity demanded, and this is shown in a table. What you should notice from my demand schedule is what I mentioned earlier in the law of demand. As price increases, price is going down, the quantity that's being demanded is increasing. So they are going in two different directions. So price changed from 40 to 35 to 30 to 25 to 20. And as it changes, you notice that the quantity that's demanded increases. Now we use the demand schedule to plot the demand curve. So in this example, remember, when price is $40, as shown in the table, the quantity demanded is 10. When the price is $35, price falls, the quantity demanded goes up to 20. So what you should be noticing is that based on the fact that the price and quantity demanded have an inverse relationship, this means that the demand curve is downward sloping from left to right. What you should also keep in mind is that when price changes, it causes a movement along the demand curve. So demand moves from A, or point A, to point B, to C, to D, and then finally to E, as price continues to change. So price causes a movement along the demand curve, and it is also possible for the demand curve to shift. What does that mean? It is possible for a new demand curve to exist, but that does not happen because of a change in the price of the good that's being examined. A shift of the demand curve can occur as a result of a non-price factor. So there are other things that could cause demand to change. When there is a movement along the demand curve, we say that there is a change in quantity demanded. And when there is a shift of the demand curve, we say that there is a change in demand. In this example, you're seeing the demand curve. The original demand curve is D and the new demand curve is D1. So something would have happened to cause the demand curve to shift to the left. It is also possible that the demand curve could shift to the right as well. Now, what would cause the demand curve to shift to the right or left? If there is a change in a factor which causes the demand to be lower at each price level, then the demand curve will shift to the left. If there's a change in a factor that would cause the demand curve or demand to be greater at each price level, then the demand curve will shift to the right. Now, what are some of these factors that could cause the demand curve to shift? And these are some of the factors here. These are general determinants of demand, and we notice that price is here, but we know that price causes a movement along the demand curve. So everything else to the right of price could cause the demand curve to shift. So for example, if there is a reduction in consumer income, then consumers would purchase less of a good or service, and so that would cause the demand curve to shift to the left. If consumers began to see ads of something that they liked, or maybe even something that they didn't like, but they continued to see the advertisements, it could play on their minds so much that it would influence them to give that product or service a try. And if they were already purchasing the product or service, maybe it would allow them or encourage them to purchase more. And so because the changes in demand is caused by advertisements, this is a non-price factor, and so it would cause the demand curve to shift to the right. So we looked at the concept of demand, and we looked at the law of demand and the demand curve. Now we're going to look at supply. And so the first thing that we want to consider is that we have a law of demand, we also have a law of supply. So the law of supply describes the relationship between supply or quantity supplied and price. And it states that, other things being constant, the price and quantity supplied of a good or service are positively related, or they have a direct relationship. So this simply means that if price increases, then there will also be an increase in the quantity supplied, because both variables are moving in the same direction. And so, because both variables are moving in the same direction, because there is a positive relationship between the two, the supply curve is upward sloping. So just remember, the demand schedule shows a table with the price or various price levels and various quantities demanded. And the supply schedule shows a table with the various price levels and the various quantities supplied. Now, typically for suppliers, as price increases, they are inclined to supply more goods or services because they see the incentive of making higher profit. So notice, as price increases, the quantity supplied also increases in the supply schedule. And your supply curve is upward sloping. When the price is $20, the quantity supplied is 10. When the price increases to $25, you notice that the quantity supplied also increases. And we notice that as price continues to increase, then the quantity supplied will also continue to increase. Recall that a change in price usually, or in all situations, would cause a movement along a demand curve. This is a similar concept for supply. A change in price will cause a movement along the supply curve. The supply curve could also shift, but this would not be the result of a change in price. It would be because of a change in a non-price factor. In this example, there is a change in a factor that causes supply to increase at every price level. And when this happens, your supply curve will shift to the right. When there is a change which causes the supply to decrease at each price level, then we will say that there is a leftward shift of the supply curve. Now, what are some of these non-price determinants of supply? It could be the cost of raw materials. So producers have to take into consideration the fact that, maybe there's an increase in the cost of raw materials, and so they might have to cut back on the number of goods that they are able to supply because of the increase in the cost of production. It could also be a situation where the cost of raw material decreases, and so they're able to purchase more and produce more. If the cost of raw material increases and they are constrained in terms of the quantity that they produce, it would result in a leftward shift of the supply curve. But if the cost of raw material reduces and they are able to purchase more raw materials and produce more goods, then the supply curve will shift to the right. There are other factors that could cause the supply curve to shift. Some of these factors that could affect the supply curve include seasons or natural events. So there are different seasons where more or less of a good may be supplied, or there could be natural events such as natural disasters that would wipe out some crops, and it would limit the amount of goods that are supplied in a market. There could also be more or less sellers in the market, and that would influence the overall supply. Government regulations could exist, and these regulations could be negative or positive. They could be regulations that encourages increased production, or the regulations could discourage production. There could also be an influence on the level of supply that is based on expectations of future prices. So there could be an expectation of future price increase, or there could be an expectation that the prices could decrease in the future. So if suppliers expect prices to increase in the future, they might restrict supply now so that they are able to provide those goods to the market later at a higher price. That's it for this lesson.